What's up? What's up?
What's up?
How's it going, Brian?
Doing great. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. So once again, we're having another episode of James Massey Live, and always providing value to the real estate agent and sharing with them some of the stuff that we've been able to do to grow our business, be successful, and then build. So I'm super happy to have with me my buddy Brian, and he's going to be sharing some of the things he's been able to do, his journey in of itself, which is, I was looking at like all your stuff that you've done, man. You've done a lot of stuff, man.
Just a little bit. I was like, I liked how you wrote me up. I was like, man, you must have read it because, I was like, yeah, that's true. So,
Just kind of going through it, dude. So, for some of the people that don't really know your story or how you got into real estate, go ahead and share with everybody, like, what I guess the beginning part going, because you got a long history of stuff you did. So if you can kind of sum that up and just kind of bring us to present day.
yeah, I can do that. As a matter of fact, I just did this yesterday and I did it a couple days ago. Yeah, so basically in 2001, right when the towers hit, the 9/11 situation, the industry, everything just changed. And at that time, I was working for the Yellow Pages. I was a sales rep. I was number 2 in the country. And I was like, I want to do something different. I'm not selling Yellow Pages is probably not going to be the game player anymore. Obviously, where we're at right now. Have you seen the Yellow Pages in a while? So anyways, in 2001, I was like, my friend who was number 3 in the nation in Yellow Pages here, right in our town right here in Bakersfield. He said he was a real estate broker on the side, and he said, hey, man, you should get your real estate license. And I said, okay, makes sense to me. Why not? We're awesome. Let's do this thing. So, and I was going to go under his brokerage. Well, what ended up happening is I was selling ads. I went to a friend of mine. She's a lender. And I said, hey, you want to buy some, buy a Yellow Page ad? She's like, yeah, I'll do that. And I happened to say, yeah, I'm getting my real estate license. And she said, well, why don't you come over and be a loan officer for a while so you can see our side? So when you're over on the other side, you'll be a little bit more compassionate for us. And I'm like, makes sense to me. Back then, they didn't require a license to be a lender, a loan officer. You were just right under corporate umbrella. And so I said, what is it going to take? She said, nothing. Just you want to do it. And I said, I don't have to do no license. Nope. Okay, I'm on. So started doing that end of like around November 2001. And was working on getting my license and really didn't understand the real estate license situation. I wasn't really thinking about it. I don't know if it was a good thing that I didn't get in it immediately or if I, because of the market. I mean, who would have known what had happened? I mean, the market was like, it was low and then all of a sudden exploded and everybody was making tons of money when the market was going and going, kind of like it was just not too long ago. Yeah. Now it's switching up again, right? So in 2001, I started doing loans, and I was doing I was sending comparables to the appraiser guy lived literally across the street from my house. Friend of mine, my children played with his children, and so I was like, hey, Danny, here's this comp for this refi, here's this purchase or whatever. And he was like, man, you know how to do these better than my own appraisers have been doing this for like 10, 15 years. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I just kind of blew it off. And then what happened was in June 2002, I had like a couple of refinances that would have made me $20,000. It was a big deal. It's when you could get 1 on the front or 2 on the front and 3 on the back, which means 3% on the back. So you're making as much as a real estate agent at that time. So you can make 3 to 5% commission on a loan if you got the person to agree to that loan rate. And so what ended up happening is the guy was a friend of mine. The guy that said, hey, get your real estate license. It was a friend of his. And he was down in LA, and it was a big deal. It was big money. And all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, he goes, I could get a better deal with this other guy. It was just the very last minute. And I was kind of like, I go, well, let me see what I can do. Give me a minute, right? That guy signed the loan docs with that other guy, did the whole thing, and I lost $20,000 on the spot. So I was like, skip this. I mean, it was like, all of a sudden I lose, I had that money spent, but I didn't. I wasn't already spending it, but I was thinking about what I was going to spend it on. So anyways, I went to my neighbor and I said, hey, we're thinking about moving to Las Vegas because that's where some bigger money is being made for loans. I was like, figured that's what it could be. The lender, she said, hey, I'll open an office. We'll go to Vegas. I'm like, okay, sounds great to me. Let's go to Vegas. Had everything actually ready to roll. And then he just said, hey, you know what? Why don't you become an appraiser? Stay here. I want your children, my children to play with each other. I don't want you to leave. And I was like, well, what do you got for me? And he's like, well, I got this. And it was like, you got 20 drive-bys to go and do. And if you go do it, you'll make $4,000. I go, how quick can I do these? He says, as fast as you can. Shoot, I did it all in one day. I went and did all of them in one day. I thought, man, this is the easiest thing in the world. All I had to do is just do 3 comps, 3 photos, just give it to him, simple as can be. And so I started doing an appraising, and within 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, he left, went to Vegas. He went to Vegas to go gamble and to be in the World Series of Poker. He was going to go there and try to get on that. He didn't. He skunked out way early, which was good because I wanted him to lose because I needed this job. I needed this something to do back then. And the market was crazy. So what ended up happening is within 2 weeks he left, and I'm literally, he goes, Brian, you're so good. He goes, you can correct all their appraisals work and you can sign my signature. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, you know how to do it. So I had appraisers that have been in it for 10, 15 years, and I'm checking their work, and I've only been doing it for 2 weeks. And it was legit. I mean, I really knew how to do it. It was simple as could be. So long story short, he messed up big time. I got my hours signed off with him. You got to get over 2,000 hours of being an appraiser. I got as many hours as I could get signed off with him at the last minute before he went to jail for something unrelated to appraising. Grand Theft Auto, man. Anyways, it was a crazy thing. It was crazy, man. It was insanity. So, anyways,
Grand Theft Auto though, that's crazy, man.
It was, man. His wife left him, and he was losing it, and so he took his friend's Mustang and drove to Vegas, and his friend reported as stolen, and he got nailed, and he ended up going to jail, and now he works at 7-Eleven as a manager in Ventura, California. And he's been doing that since he got out of prison. But anyways, beyond that, so I went and I found somebody else that could take me on to do the appraisal work to finish out my hours. I started my own appraisal company, and then appraisals, it was easy. It was like hello, right? I mean, it was like oh yeah, I'll get to it. It was $400 or $500 an appraisal. Do 10 of them, it's $5,000. They really aren't that difficult to do. I don't care what an appraiser tells you. If they say it takes days, they're lying. They can get it done in 30 minutes. They're just saying it takes days because they just making money and they don't care. So anyways, did the appraising, and then the market took a change. 2007, August 2007, I saw it really happening before it happened, which was August 2008 when they finally announced the market was taking a dump. And a whole year in advance there was a website for banks that were imploding literally on a daily basis. It was like there was a clock of, okay, there's this many banks, countrywide implosion, implosion, every one of them. And it was just insane. And so in 2007, appraisal management companies came into play. And I ended up going and finally, so 2001, I started to get my real estate license. By 2007, that's when I actually went and took the test. Because I thought, you know what, I'm out of the appraisal management companies coming in. They were giving us half the money and basically saying some guy in Texas, nothing against Texas, but some guy in Texas on his desktop saying, why did you appraise it for this amount? Because I said. I mean, because that's what it is. And it's like, here's 7 comps. It's legit. And so it was like double the work, half the pay. I was done. So in 2007, I got my license and I went and worked for Worldmark. Trend West Timeshares. It was right here in Bakersfield. They had a sales office. We had a timeshare with them. We bought in 2005. Still have it. When they ended up selling up to Worldmark by Wyndham. But anyways, I went and did that. Got that job in October 2007. And it was doing really well. Changed management. And January 2000, I was upset. The manager that I had was really cool, and the lady that I had wasn't. Her name was Joy, and she was not a joy. And no joke, man. And so by end of March, I told them I'm quitting, and they're like, "No, please don't leave." And really, they're like, please don't leave. And I'm like, "No, I'm leaving." So I left, got on with Remax April 1st, 2008, April 1st, so April Fool's Day, 2008. And I already went through everything. And then I found out that I'll roll back a little bit, but I found out with all my experience as an appraiser, which this doesn't count anymore. I was grandfathered in where I could have become a broker. I could have skipped completely my real estate license and become a broker immediately. And, which sucked because I took the test. I could have just taken the broker exam, all the broker courses, and taken the exam. I would have been done. So in 2007, that's when I found out. I started taking all my broker courses, which was, I think, 6 more courses that I had to take. And then by June 2008, I had my broker's license. So April 2008, started Remax Magic. That was the company I worked at. They're not in business anymore. It's Remax. Their Remax Magic franchise is gone. But Remax, June, rolled up on that and got my brokers. And really, I knew everything, all the paperwork. I had done all of it with all the appraisal work. I knew how to do. I was pretty much trained for 7 years prior to. And I knew that I was going to start my own business. In August 2008, the market took a dive, completely dive. And I started my brokerage in October of 2008, right when the market took a dive. Perfect timing, man. October 2008. And anyways, but do a quick rollback. So back in June or July, actually, the lady that I worked for, that was Debbie Banducci. She was the broker of Remax Magic. And she said, "Hey, you want to go to Mike Ferry conference, for coaching?" And I'm like, no, I'm not really interested. And she's like, "Well, come on, you can go." And I'm like, I went. And then, of course, I learned a lot of stuff real quick with Mike Ferry. I was able to do a price reduction on the spot right there at the conference, got a house sold, got another house sold. I was like selling houses like crazy as the conference is going. And then October 2008, started my own brokerage. Fast forward all the way to May 2019 and came over to eXp Realty. And actually, I had already basically in May, I watched this video that Andre LaFountain sent to me. And within 7 days, I had closed my business and moved over to eXp, my brokerage. I completely closed it within 7 days. And from what I understand, I'm one of the fastest people to have done that, at least in our group. But I don't know about anybody else, but to close a brokerage in 7 days, I was like, there's no competition. But anyways, that's all it. Plus coaching in between, tons of coaching in between.
Yeah, dude, man, like just that story in and of itself, between starting out to get your real estate license to actually sell real estate as an agent, to actually becoming an appraisal first and a loan officer first, and eventually having a guy that was trying to win in Vegas and auto It's so much in that, right?
That's just the fast version, man. If I gave you all details, there's more in between, but
Yeah. So I mean, somebody like yourself that obviously has tons of experience in real estate, have done everything from the beginning to the end, all gamuts of it, and then having their own brokerage. What was the thing that you saw that was like, all right, I'm closing this thing down and I'm actually moving over to EXP because I actually see, the value of that more than what I'm currently doing. Because like most people, it's like, most agents, they're like, if I can have my own brokerage and get 100% commission, and that's how they always thinking. So what was one of the reasons why you was like, all right, this is the better way, shutting down in 7 days, I'm making this happen.
Well, prior to that, I lost a little bit of your voice. Maybe okay. So maybe it was a delay. But anyways, yeah. So what ended up happening? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So prior to that, I'll just do a quick rollback. So in September 2018, I had an opportunity. Actually, it was August 2018, but it rolled into September a little bit into it because of when I got introduced. Anyways, I got introduced to EXP a little bit in 2018, but it was reproached to me incorrectly, if you want to call it this way. I was 48 years. I just turned 48. I'm 52 now. And the person that came to me was another person with another coaching company at one time that I was in the past with. And she said, it was Christina Wynn. Anyways, she basically came to me and said, "Hey, Brian," and she didn't even, I didn't even watch the video. I didn't look at anything. I didn't do nothing. I didn't even know it was really EXP. I didn't know any of it at all. And she just basically said to me, she's like, "Brian," she goes, "we're getting old." This is how she started it. "We're getting old, and we're not going to want to sell real estate." And I'm like, that is the worst approach to bring somebody. It's like I was already feeling old as it was. I was like, and anyways, but what ended up happening is my son Tyler. I said he was with me on our brokerage, and I said, "Hey, Tyler," I said, "Hey, watch this video, and see if we're gonna, are we gonna move?" And he goes, "I ain't watching no video because we ain't moving." And I go, "Okay, whatever." And I literally blew it off just like that. I didn't even watch the video. I didn't even know anything. So I had nothing to even to say about it. Fast forward April 2019, I was like, I'm done. I was at a done point of my life. So when they always say timing, the timing, so you never know when the timing is for that person. Well, me, I was at that time in my of what I was going to do. It was a crossroads, I guess, if you want to call it that. My son, Tyler, he's got his contractor's license, but prior to that, he was working on getting his hours so we could get him signed off so he could get his license. He just got it this year. He's in EXP, and he's still with our group and everything, but he's doing contracting work. And anyways, I was just like, we were just sitting out on the patio, and I said, "Man," "I'm tired. I'm tired of selling houses. I'm just like, I was in this spot." And he's like, "Dad, just go work for one of those other independent brokerages or something and go boss everybody around and tell them what to do, because you know exactly what to do, because you've been through all the training, all the stuff. You could just tell everybody and you'll get hired." And I was like, you know what? I could get hired, and I know exactly where to go. And no joke, that exact same time, that exact day, within 6 hours, Andre called me up. I still have the voicemail. That he called me to this day. It's saved. If you can see that right there, 4/24/19, Andre.
Love it.
And I listened to it. It's a reminder. But he called me up and he's like, "Hey, Brian, I got you on my phone. I think you're still in Bakersfield. I got this project I'm working on. Da 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 da. You know this split. You've heard it. And give me a call." And he goes, "You can call me anytime you want, all the way up until 11 o'clock Eastern my time." So he's like, "That's 8 o'clock yours." And I'm like, "Okay." So I called him at 7 o'clock which was 10 o'clock. I was like, you know what, I'll call Andre. And I respected Andre. This is another thing. I really respected him. He was with the coaching program. I had talked to him hours and hours and hours before I even went to the coaching program prior to in April 2014, I think it was. And really liked him. I really liked talking to him on the phone. So I was like, you know what? I'll give him a call. He said I can call him up till 11 o'clock at night. Fine, I'll call him at 7. That's 10. I will see if he answers the phone. Boom, he answers the phone. So he's like, hey, you know, watch this video, check it out. So a couple days go by. I finally watched the video. And I'm like, this is it. I don't need to move. I can build a brokerage within a brokerage, and I have zero stress. That was one of the things. Was the biggest thing for me is like I could build a team, and I'm not responsible. Like you can go run your mouth all you want, but I'm not responsible for what you're saying. Debbie Penny, our broker for California, is responsible for your mouth, not mine. And I was like, amen. So that was like selling point number one. I could build something and be able to have something in revenue, be able to receive revenue. And then the stock options, that was the other thing that really got me. It was like, wow, stock. I've never, ever once had stock. Ever once. Not even bought it, never purchased it, never had a 401k, nothing like that. So I was like, I'm 40, at that time, 49 years old, about almost 49. And I'm like, I got to do something here. I'm not going to live, you know, I am getting old, you know, it's like, so I got to do something, and let me do it. And it was the stock. It was the fact, and the leverage of EXP as a national company across the United States. It was just Platinum Estate Realty. That was me. Okay, so what? Now, it's not really the name of the company, but at that time, I thought it was the name of the company. You find out it's you. You're the brand. You're the one that people like. They're the ones that want to use you. It doesn't matter what company you're with. You could be EXP. You could be Coldwell. You could be Century 21. You could be any of those, but it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you. But at that moment in time, I thought it was about brand. Branding, meaning a company that I could use and utilize their name and say, look, I'm with a national company. I'm awesome, right? I'm not with just myself. It's just not me, my son, and that's it. It's me. And at that time, 3,500 agents in the state of California that I could pitch your property to. Now we're at, I think, 11,000 agents in the state of California since then. So we've increased by 7,000 in just a matter of 3 years. So to me, it was like a leverage situation. Those were the thoughts in my head. And so then I got on, and then not just that video, I went and watched a ton of videos. I went back and I watched videos that were like when the stock was at a penny stock. And I'm like, what is this, man? I look up the stock. I'm like, the stock is like $4 a share. And they were at 17 cents a share. Why can't I get it at 17 cents a share? Right? I'm bugging out. And I was, and by the way, when I did unbelievable, like the third video I watched, I was like, this is insane. And I literally ran across in my house. I'm 48 years old, running through my house like a girl, screaming, saying, this is amazing. There's no way I can compete. There's no way nobody else can compete. EXP is going to dominate. I knew it immediately. I said, there is nobody that could compete this. Nobody. I don't care if you're at a zero, zero paying your broker. I don't know how that would work, but you're paying a $500 flat fee. I don't care. Nothing can beat EXP. Even when you're like thinking what the split is, it doesn't matter because you can adjust that with revenue share and stock and all sorts of other ways, and you get your cap back. It's the only company that gives your cap back, gives it back in the form of stock. It's amazing. So to me, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. If I didn't do this, I would be mad if I hadn't signed up. So I knew right then and there, that's why I would move over to EXP was the revenue share. And it was just the fact that I could have zero worries. Plus, I was paying a lot of money to have my own brokerage. Now, didn't have an office at the time. I've had an office before. It didn't make sense to me to have it because I never went to it at all. Like I had an office for 6 months straight and I went to it 3 times. Like 3 times, that's it. And to me, it was just a waste of time. And but because of paying a monthly bill and paying pay. But I mean, the amount of money that I saved doesn't even compare to what the yearly, cost is. At the cap, the $16,000 cap. It's $16,000 to run a brokerage. Some people that's a half a month.
Man, and that's what I talk to independents all the time, and the biggest thing that I tell them is like, man, if you can have a brokerage where it ran and it cost you $16,000 a year, like, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer because it's going to cost you so much more than $16,000 a year to run your very own brokerage, and not to mention the liability behind that. And then plus on top of it, I mean, you're just kind of looking at something that's local. Like, I mean, even with me, I didn't have a broker, but I had a team, but it was all just local. I'm just looking at the lenses of just my little metro Atlanta area. But when you add an EXP onto it, now you're adding global. So just from that aspect alone, the global part, like, do you have people that you've connected with that's in your organization outside of the state of California now?
Yes, actually, I do. I have somebody that's in my good friend Ken. He's in Pennsylvania. He's actually licensed in Maryland as well. My other friend Christy, she's in Illinois. She's a broker. She was independent. She was in for 23 years. I moved over just back in May. Another change in my business with EXP. I'm actually with EXP Commercial. So I moved from the realty side to the commercial side. So now I'm actually in the commercial side because that was something I wanted to do for years. But again, the cost just to run a commercial, just the cost as being an independent, just as a regular agent, nobody in particular, just you and me, like you just say, I want to be commercial. Just to run that, to turn the key is $4,000 a month. Because you need all these systems, no joke, they cost you about $4,000 a month. And EXP Commercial, it's only $250 a month, and they give you everything. So it's kind of like $250 a month, But that's another thing. That's another story. Maybe we could do another thing on that. But the reality is Christy, she originally I talked to her about coming over to the realty side. She thought it was amazing. And but she didn't want to do realty anymore. She was tired of it. And then I tell her about commercial, and she's actually a commercial agent under me in Illinois. So, and she's only a week behind me. When she signed up, I was signed up commercial. I rolled from EXP Realty to EXP Commercial May 13th, and she's May 20th. So she came on 7 days. Her rollover came over 7 days behind me. We were in the same classes together while we were learning how to do commercial. It was amazing. It was cool. And but I actually have other people that are coming on board here real soon. One in the state of Victor in the state of Arkansas. I got another person, Kim, in Arizona. I've got one of the very first person I brought on. She's down. She's not even in Bakersfield where I live. She's in Woodland Hills, California, Michelle. And so it allows us to reach out further. I mean, I have somebody right now. We'll see soon. Hopefully within the next 2-3 months, I'll know. Had a little thing going on here, but she's probably going to come over. She's in Mexico. So we'll be international here real soon. So, and also in the UK, I got somebody working on it right now. They met with a broker in the UK. So, who would have thought, you could actually go not just in front of you, but beyond your reach. You could go anywhere on earth. And 23 countries we're in right now. And we're going to expand to bigger than that. And EXP is going to dominate. I mean, we're number 3 right now. We just beat Remax a few months ago. Based on what I just saw, we might have beat. We might be number 2 is what I'm saying. We might have beat Reology because of what I just saw recently. So Reology is a big conglomerate.
We did. We're over Reology.
We did beat them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're number 2 then.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
losing your voice, buddy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy how like fast the company's growing and building, and everybody says like it's just something that it's just a recruiting company. It's like no, 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 no. We're selling a ton of freaking real estate. I mean, reality got like Caldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, the Cochran Group, just
Century 21, Coldwell Banker.
21. Yeah, they got a lot
Yeah,
of brokers.
there are a ton of brokerages in under one umbrella, and we're still beating them, which you just let me know, which is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I mean, just the thing of it is, man. I always say like the beauty of EXP is it incentivizes the collaboration like no other. Like when you start putting a group of agents that are just killers. I'm talking about folks that selling 500,000 homes a year, 2,000 homes a year, 2,500. When you put that together and everybody's sharing and willing to share because they benefit from each other, like automatically the sky is not even how they say the sky's the moon or the limit is the sky, something like that, but basically you just take off, and that's what's been happening here within the last few years, and like you said, we just getting started. We're in 23 countries now, and we ain't even scratched the surface of what we're about to create and build.
Well, I mean, and the team that I have here in Bakersfield, and then of course anywhere else in all the other places. I mean, I don't do the realty side anymore. So I've got a great friend of mine. He constantly tags me, and I constantly give this to my group. But even last night, I don't know if you can see that, but I sent that off.
Love it.
350, 465. So how about almost $1 million in volume with one person? And I give that up. I straight up, I'm not getting anything. Our referral network with EXP, you can actually cap. You could actually just sit back, go on to workplace. I mean, that's a whole nother game. You could go in there and you just put in your city and just hit refresh. Make sure you're in all those groups. Make sure you have notifications. I mean, he sits there all day long and he tags me, and it's great. I mean, I don't even have to look in the group. He's like, Brian Ostrovski. And it's like, all right. And that's my friend Sam Silver out there. And he does that. And I pass that on to my team. And so they get that. And who have you ever heard that does that? Who ever does that, right? Not even a broker. A broker's like, give me some money. Give me some more money. The only way that any of us, as long as we're helping our people, we're going to benefit from it no matter what. So to give it all away is better than to keep it to yourself. And that's something that I've learned in the last 3 years. That's another thing about EXP. It's a personal development company. You will either stay in and give or get out because you're not a giver. I mean, you got to become a giver. It forces you to give no matter what.
Love it, man.
And you know what? Run the numbers. I mean, roll back, roll again. Run the numbers. Run your numbers. Run the whole situation. Whoever you're talking to or whatever about this, run the numbers because numbers don't lie. You can't lie. The numbers tell the truth. And if you can't, and if the numbers aren't right, then I mean, you need to move. And do something for your family. Stop doing it for the broker.
That's it. Love it,
That
man.
broker is not going to take care of you. That broker is not going to take care of you when the chips are on the table. They might send you flowers. They might send some money to your donation after you pass away, but maybe, and you don't even know if they're going to do it because you're going to be gone.
Love it, man. Well, look, man. I mean, I appreciate you jumping on and just kind of sharing your story. I mean, I know a lot of people got a lot out of this. I mean, if anybody want to reach out to me or Brian, I mean, our information is right there. You want to know about how to partner with us, or just want to know our journey in and of itself. I mean, or if you just want to know about real estate, like we're got a lot of knowledge. We're absolutely willing to share, regardless where you are. So once again, we do these every Thursday at 11, and Brian, dude, I mean, probably one of the most interesting, down to earth, exciting people that I ever known, and I appreciate you just sharing right here today.
Well, I appreciate that, James, and I like talking to you when I can. We're all busy, right? But this is a great time. We got 36 minutes together.
All right, man. Well, are you going? Are you going to Dallas? Because everybody's going to Dallas. Are you going to be down there?
No, I'm not going to be making it to Dallas. I'm here supporting my team right now. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Matter of fact, we got an event coming up in September that's going to be a blowout. It's going to be amazing, right, locally, and so we're working on that.
Okay. Well, let me know about that one right there, man. Like, I'm always cool to get to California when I can, so maybe I can make it.
Hey, you never know, man. Or you never know. We could work it out. Maybe come to Atlanta, man, and just hang out. We could do it there too. We can do it anywhere. That's the great part about EXP.
You're right, events. Man. You're right. Yep. Love it. Well, until the next time, I appreciate you, brother, and looking to see you soon.
All right, man. Can't wait to see you. Talk to you soon.